here. Okay, 2 points are there. If we join these 2 points, then we call this as a line segment. What we call it?
Line segment.
A line segment has 2 endpoints. A line segment has
2 endpoints.
points. We are naming these points as A and B. Let us assume this length as 5 centimeters. We are naming this as 5 centimeters line segment. So we will name this as AB. On the head, a small line, we consider this as a AB line segment. Okay. Now, if I extend this line segment to one side only, we call this as a ray. What we call it?
Ray.
We call that as a
Ray.
And now, another line, another ray if I draw here from A to another point, let us name this as C. AB ray, AC ray is joined with a common vertex here. It is joined with a
Common vertex.
That is the common vertex is A here. Common vertex is
A.
And 2 arms are there. That is AB arm and AC arm. We call this figure as angles. What we call it?
Angles.
Now, if I draw a line in such a way that we have the arrows 2 sides, we call that as a straight line. What we call it?
Straight line.
So the next chapter for us is lines and angles. We call this as an angle and this as a straight line. So next chapter for us is lines and angles. Lines and angles. Now let us know about the angles here. Okay. Let us know about the angles. Line, we know that. Line is a straight line. It can be extended in both the directions. We call it line. So next, if we draw a line segment which is a part of a line. Line segment is a part of a line. Straight line can be extended in both the directions. But whereas line segment, it cannot be extended in both the directions. Up to the limited end, it will be there. It has 2 endpoints. A line segment has 2 endpoints. And a ray has 1 endpoint. Now, when you join 2 rays with a common vertex, angles are formed here. Let us draw an angle here. Okay. Now, name this as O and this as A and B. Here, with a common vertex, an angle is formed here. We call this type of angle as acute angle. What we call it?
Acute angle.
Acute angle. So, acute angle measure should be greater than 0, less than 90 degrees. It should be greater than 0, less than 90 degrees. What is the measure? That is the measure of acute angle. Now, if the angle measure, if I take as 90 degrees, this angle, we call this as 90 degrees angle. So, we call this angle as right angle. What we call it?
Right angle.
If the measure of the angle is equal to 90 degrees, then we call that as a right angle. Okay. Now, if the angle measure is greater than 90 degrees, greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees, greater than 90 degrees, less than 180 degrees, then we call this angle as obtuse angle. What we call it?
Obtuse angle.
Don't shout, ma. We call this angle as obtuse angle. So what's the measure of this angle? Greater than 90 degrees, less than 180 degrees. If the measure of the angle is 180 degrees, equal to 180. Now see here. If the angle is formed on a straight line here, then we call this angle as
Straight angle.
which angle it is? Straight angle. So if the angle measure is equal to 180 degrees, then we call that angle as straight angle. Straight angle. angle. Okay, understood now all of you? Yes, see here. We have told about the angles here now. Here see the model. See in this we'll be knowing angles. See here. For example, if I take the measure of the angle as below 90 degrees, greater than 0 degrees, less than 90 degrees, then we call that angle as this angle. Acute angle. Which angle it is?
Acute angle.
Greater than 0 degrees, less than 90 degrees. We call that angle as acute angle. If the angle measure is equal to 90 degrees. So where is 90? See here. 90 is here. So we consider that angle 90 degrees. See here. Is it 90 degrees?
Yes.
See all of you. So if the angle measure is 90 degrees, we call that angle as, tell me,
Right angle.
we call that as
Right angle.
next. If the measure of angle is greater than 90 degrees, greater than
90 degrees.
and less than 180 degrees. See here. If I take the measure of the angle as more than 90, more than 90. So if the circle is moved here in the clockwise direction, then let us take more than 90. Is it more than 90 or not?
Yes.
See there? Is it more than 90?
Yes.
And less than 180. So which angle it is now? This angle. It is acute angle. Next, straight line. Straight line angle. That is if I keep like this.